All right, so I will call the school building committee subcommittee on communications to order. It is 4:02 p.m. on September 22nd. We have Ann and I are both here. So, and we are going to, let me share my screen here. And our agenda was to call to order, review frequently asked questions, document and suggested changes, and then adjournment. And at this point, we just have the alterations that Peter sent us. I don't think we have any others, and I don't know that we want to add anything at this point. If we have additional feedback come in after the town meeting, I think then we can add something back in. But until then, it doesn't make sense to add anything to the FAQ. You make sense to you?
Yes, I agree. Yep.
Okay, so I have my master here. This is what is posted now. I think what we can work off of, this is what Peter sent out, and the yellow is the language that he added. And if we just go line by line, I've taken what he sent, and I'm sure you have your feedback too of what we want to add in, what doesn't make sense to us, and we'll go from line by line. Good for you?
Sounds good.
So that first line, this right here, I'm okay with it. I don't see an issue with adding it in there.
I think that's good. Yep, I agree.
I'm just going to document this on my paper copy.
Okay.
The second part here, the need and potential, I crossed out, and I'll show you, I crossed out need and potential. I crossed out soul, and I crossed out potentially right here. So it would read, because I don't know that need and potential. Hold on, Ralph is here. I'm just going to let him in and then mute him. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I can't see it on my screen. There he is. Mute.
Hey, Ralph.
Okay, let me go back to where I was. So it would read, the recommendation for Willington to construct a new school, renovate existing or maintain current facilities will be the responsibility of the town school building committee. Final action on any recommended project will be subject to town meeting and referendum vote.
I agree. I think crossing out soul is good because I think the Board of Ed will also have input.
Right.
So
again, I crossed off need and potential. I crossed off soul, and I crossed off potentially. Are you good with that?
I agree.
Perfect. That one. Add language indicating in-person SBC meetings will resume August. This I didn't put in at all because it could change, and we may be going back to remote anyways, just because no one's been showing up, and I think that's what Erica was saying.
Yep.
So, are you okay with not accepting any of that?
Wait, let me just think about that for a minute. So add language indicating in-person SBC meetings will resume August 24th for all town residents to attend. We're really hybrid, and this could be construed as in-person only. So I think it might lead to confusion.
I don't know that we need it at all in the FAQ document, because they can see on our agendas if it's remote or if it's hybrid or if it's in person.
Okay, and it does change. So that could be confusing for someone to think that it's only going to be in person.
Right, and so I'm not sure that this information makes sense on here. We're telling them where to find the information on the school building committee, and it would be that.
Okay.
The commission by the BOE there, I'm by that.
Okay, yep. Do we have a date there, or does that matter?
Where are you looking?
Well, when did we commission that? Do we want to add a date to that? Because we've had two, haven't we? we've had two.
Well, the original came out in 2017. Did we say that someplace else? I think we actually had that in there earlier and we took it out.
I'm just wondering if that would be helpful in terms of the timeline.
We can add 2017.
Okay.
It would be the official facility study report commissioned by the Board of Education in 2017 can be reviewed and by utilizing the credentials.
Okay, I think that's
good. The link didn't work, and I actually tested it off the PDF, and it worked perfectly.
Okay. So, okay, very good.
Okay, so I'll check that. That's going to be changed. Add 2017. This next line, SBC is investigating flexibility of this deed and potential education and non-educational use of Hall School and the Hall Foundation. I mean, that's part of what our charge is, so I don't have a problem with that line.
Okay.
Okay.
Does it make it sound current though? Have we started to do that or no? Do we want to make it more future? Will investigate? Or I guess when we're inviting the halls to come and talk to us, that is investigating?
Deed and potential education, non-education. I mean, I think it's going to be part of our process.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so it is investigating, yeah, is current.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. The potential new or renovated building project, I don't have a problem with that line either.
Okay, looks good.
This next part, I don't.
I think there was something deleted from the next part. Let me. That was kind of hard to document with the highlighting. Because my note says that was this whole could students continue to be educated in our schools during a renovation project? My notes say that was deleted.
It was. I don't.
So.
Oh. I'm only going through the yellow because I don't know if he put that. He just pulled an old one, but okay. I don't think he was adding any changes there.
So we might have already deleted that in our documents. Okay.
This is the master and it's not there.
Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah, I found one of these and I think we had deleted it in this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this, should the committee recommend the construction of a new school on a new existing site, comma, the SBC is reviewing available land. I don't think we need any of that. What he put in here for yellow. Right now it reads the SBC.
Let me find the question, Phil. Read the question again, please.
So it says, does the town own any land that could be used to build a new school?
Okay, I see that. Okay.
And this is all, I can click back and forth, and this is what's in the master copy right now.
Yeah, I see where we are now on my paper. Okay.
And this is what's in there.
Okay, should the committee recommend the construction of a new school on a newer existing site, comma, SBC is reviewing available land. This is what we already had. Should the committee recommend the construction of a new school or on a newer existing site? I agree. Do you agree with that?
So I don't think we need either the yellow in either the question. It just says the SBC is, does the town own any land that could be used to build a new school? Okay. It just says the SBC is reviewing available land for sale, potential that are not for sale, and land already owned by the town. I think that answers the question. I'm not sure why we need to add in the should the committee recommend the construction of a new school on a new or existing site.
Does that infer that we cannot begin that process until we make that decision? Is that, which I think we've begun the process.
His response though is of a new school.
Yeah.
It could be a renovated school. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't think we need his statement there.
Okay. All right, so is it, okay,
Same
so
thing with the annual school enrollment for the previous school year is submitted each October 1 by the superintendent of schools. That has absolutely nothing to do with the enrollment study.
Okay, right.
They don't look at that. That's not part of the number they look at. They look at the enrollment study. So I just don't want to confuse people. That's not connected to that question. That's connected to, I think he was trying to connect it to the amount of land we need to the enrollment projections, but enrollment projections are totally separate than the October 1.
The actual, okay, so projected numbers are different from actual numbers.
Right. Then what
October 1st is actual numbers.
Correct.
And we work with projected numbers.
You got it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I think I would suggest that we just leave that question alone as we have it.
Okay. So delete. Yeah.
You're okay with that?
Okay. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
This right here, I think I'm going to go back to my other one. What's the process of private owner be approached if their land has been identified as a potential site for a new school? SBC may. What does it say now?
Do you want me to? I have it here if you want me to read it. He changed this would to may. Where is the, let's see where the would, okay.
I think that's what he changed on that.
May, SBC may request, may privately contact. There's another may in there. Is there a may privately contact? I'm seeing it on my notes.
It's on the second page. Yeah. And I think what I'm not sure if he pulled the answer from this. It's because I think this was edited. I think he went off of an old document on this one.
Yeah, I also think that there's been some added to this. This is the original that you're showing right now?
Yeah, this is what we have posted right now. And so I think the only thing I would consider at this point, because I think he went off of an old one. Yeah. Because this is where we split it into two questions. Can a facility be built on the Youngerman property? I think we split that into a separate answer. That's why we see it here. Okay. On his copy, he has it as 1. And we had already made that change. So I guess the question we want to address here is, do we want to change the word would to may?
May. Well, if we are pursuing some land, there are certain things that we have to do, right? If we're investigating land, that we have to do this and this and this, which to me would be a would, unless they're optional things and we could do them if we want, but we don't have to do them, and that would be a may.
Yeah, and I think the things we list there, I agree with you, because if we were interested in a potential site, and the landowner's interested in, if the landowner is interested in selling, yeah, we would request a site walk. Right. We would. It's not a may. If we didn't request a site walk, then we wouldn't know anything about the land. So right. I don't know if I'm missing something there, but that I would leave it alone. Yeah, I agree. I think since it's not something optional, I think would is a better word. Okay. And then the rest of it, I'm going to leave alone based upon our responses, because he pulled off of an old one. So the next one, let me go back to this. Now, when you say he pulled off, wait a minute, because I have quite a bit more here. Well, landowners, is that, explain that again. So in a previous copy, you split them in half and made them into 2 questions. Is that correct? Correct. So he pulled an old version of our FAQ when he provided feedback. Okay. He did not pull the master. Okay. And so look at the master right here. this is the master. We split that question that we have with the yellow on it.
Yes.
We split it into two already.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess we could look at, does it make sense?
And it starts with the 1992
right.
School building committee.
So do you see where he wrote changes to this site in the yellow and the suitability for a new school site in 2021? That's what he would want us to add to this line right here, I believe. He would want it to read, the current SBC is researching changes to this site and additional details as to the suitability for a new school site in 2021.
Okay.
Which I think we're asking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're researching additional details as to why the piece of property was not suitable for a new school. And you're implying if it is, then maybe it could be used.
Okay, so that adds the can question. Can a new facility?
So if you look at this one. This is where he basically is just, this is what's in the next question. What's on my screen. That is what is right here. So again, I don't know that we need the changes to this site as to the suitability for a new school site in 2021. I don't know why we need that. I would just leave it alone.
So it is still not feasible based on what they found in 1992.
Well, if we look at
therefore,
yeah, if you look at what's in how we answered this, this is the master right here. Yeah. The current SBC is researching additional details as to why this piece of property was not suitable for a new school. I mean, because that's the reality of what we know right now. If we learned that it becomes suitable, we would add another question.
Uh-huh. Okay, so have you've added, well, that we have already. Wait a minute.
I don't think we need to accept any of his yellow change. Okay. So if you watch my screen, this is the master. This right here that I have highlighted is what he wants it to be. Because we're not researching changes to the site. We're researching, they said it wasn't a suitable site. We want to know why it's not a suitable site. Because that's what they said. And then if it is, if that's changed, then we would add more information.
Okay. Okay, so you're deleting changes to this site. And the suitability. I'm not deleting it.
It's already not there.
Okay.
It's already not there. We would just not accept his changes.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, so if we go, let me see. Why don't we simply continue educating our students in the current building? Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong document. Let me go back to his suggestion. What's in yellow?
Yeah.
Town would see savings in the Board of Education hours. Town would. And what does it say now? Let's see. So this is what it says now. And he wants it to say, the town could decide to continue utilizing the one or both buildings as schools, but would need to complete. I don't know if we could use one or both of the buildings without it, because it's not significant capital improvement projects if we go to one. I think we would have to, I think it would have to be a renovation to new. I'm not sure. Town could all elect to fund a combination of new construction renovation project that would be eligible for state reimbursement. We continue educating our students in current buildings.
Is he trying to make the point that if we did do capital improvements, they would not be reimbursable by the state and therefore it wouldn't be a good option? Or partially, only partially reimbursable by the state. Okay, wait, they would be. So be eligible for state. And then is he saying in lieu of that, we could fund a combination new construction that would be eligible? And then that's, that's inferring that it would be one building instead of the two buildings. But I think there's like too much you have to infer about these statements, that the town could decide to continue utilizing the one or both buildings as schools, but would need to complete several significant capital improvement projects that are not reimbursable or partially reimbursable by the state. The town could elect to fund a combination new construction renovation project that would be eligible for state reimbursement. And that's in response to why don't we simply continue educating our students? So is he trying to say that if we do keep both schools going, we'd have to do capital improvement plans and they are not or only partially reimbursable? Is that what he's trying to say, I think?
Maybe he's trying to get us to say that some are reimbursable. Because what we have here, the town could choose to continue utilizing the two school buildings as schools, but would need to complete several significant capital improvement projects that are not reimbursable by the state, which is an accurate statement.
Right. Or they could be partially reimbursable, which
not what's listed there.
Okay, the ones that were listed in option number 1 are not partially reimbursable.
We could add a line here that might be what he's getting at. The last line I don't think has anything to do with this question. If he's getting at that some capital improvement projects do qualify for state reimbursement, but many of them do not. So if we added a line here that basically said only certain projects are eligible for state reimbursement, do you think that satisfies what he's getting at?
Well, you could say only certain capital improvement projects, right? Because I think that's what he's specifically talking about.
I'm going to put this in green on my master here so we know.
Okay.
Only certain capital improvement
projects
are eligible for reimbursements. Is that, and we can share that with him and see what he thinks?
Yeah, see if he agrees, yeah. And then do we want to work the partial in reimbursement in
no,
here?
It is part. The whole thing is partial already. It's either you get reimbursement on or you don't.
Yeah, you either get 65 or 50% or not, right? And that's partial. Okay.
And the last line there, the town could elect to fund a combination of new construction renovation project that would be eligible for state reimbursement. I don't think that's connected to this.
It doesn't answer continuing to educate the children in the current building.
Yeah.
It's changing the building format. Okay. So cross out the town could elect to fund combination.
Yeah. So the only thing we're adjusting here is I've put it onto the master because it wasn't part of his and it's in green and I can highlight it. I'll put his comments in here from his document into the master in green as well, so everyone can see the changes when we get to it.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, so what is the current process to repair our schools?
He added the all town CIP projects are approved by the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, town meeting, and budget referendum vote. I think that's good information.
Okay, so I'm going to click yes. Should be using red pen. In 2017, the Fryer studies, okay, I'm not sure whether it's gray, 14 million for both schools. 2004 reported identified an estimated cost of 14 million. I'm going to go back to his document for both schools to complete. Yep, I agree with his both schools comment. So I'm okay with all of this right here so far. All of that.
Yep. Right. Okay. You certainly agree with capital improvement does not cover emergencies, right?
Should be deleted or clarified. The town has never not addressed
School emergency.
I'm not sure.
Well, now okay, so he added that the capital improvement plan does not include funding for emergencies.
Hold on.
That was added,
No.
right? Because that's no. Okay. Oh no, it wasn't. Yeah, it starts with
this right here.
The statement is misleading. Okay.
So maybe he wants us to say.
Well, I think he wants us to delete that. And I think he wants us to delete it because the Board of Finance, either we find a way in our Board of Education budget to cover emergencies, and if we can't, we go to the Board of Finance and they somehow finance it for us.
I think his point is we either delete it or we add what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, he suggested deleting it. Yeah, I agree.
No, he said delete or clarified. So if you, I mean, because some people may think that there is a slush fund in the capital improvement plan, and there's not.
Right.
There's not a placeholder for $100,000 for emergencies.
Right.
So if you were going to add your statement there, and I just got to make sure my capital improvement plan does not include funding for emergencies that occur, comma, and I'll do it afterwards. The Board of Education would need to,
or you could say the Board of Education will fund these, whatever they are, incidents or the need, or meet the need if the money is available.
I'm going to reverse what you just said.
Okay.
And the Board of Education would need to request the Board of Finance for emergency funds if the issue could
resolve the issue
with
Board of Education funds.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that let's read this and make sure this Board of Education funds. Make sure. So it would say the capital improvement plan does not include funding for emergencies that occur, and the Board of Education would need to request the Board of Finance for emergency funds if the issue could not be resolved with Board of Education funds.
Okay, good.
We'll see what people think.
Okay, yeah. And then that's just talking about keeping the schools operating if we were to keep the kids in the same schools, right? Okay, and how that happens. Okay.
In master. Okay. Let's go back to his here. Can we add an option here for discussion of resource sharing and voluntary cooperative ventures with neighboring town schools as alternative to regionalization? I do not think that is the job of the school building committee. It is not part of our charge.
Right. And we've already investigated the possibility of regionalizing. I mean, we've talked to Ashford, we've talked to Mansfield, and neither one of those were feasible.
If it were part of the charge, I'd say it's our job, but I don't think it's part of our charge.
Right. Well, I think we've kind of ruled it out at the Board of Education level, right? Or at the school facilities, as part of the school facility study follow-up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of partnerships going on. You know, you just talked about getting together to work together toward that plan for E.O. Smith, and But they don't have to do with the school building committee.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Right, we weren't asked to, we were asked or charged with a new pre-K through 8th grade building, whatever that looks like, not to look at regionalization.
Okay.
So what I'll do,
and we've investigated that. We,
Yeah.
you know, it's not that we haven't thoroughly investigated that.
I will take the master document, which we added a few items in green to.
Mhm.
I will take all of the things that we said okay to from
Mhm.
Peters.
Yeah.
I will drop it into the master in green. And what I'm going to ask you to do is just go through it and make sure your notes match what I did, because I wrote on my notes here in red.
Okay.
And I want to make sure it matches what you believe, and then we can bring it to the committee next meeting.
Next meeting. Okay, very good.
Does that work for you?
That works well. You know, the other thing, are we allowed to bring up anything that's not on the agenda?
No, because we're in a subcommittee special meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted the Facebook page to chat about that, but we're not allowed if it's not on the agenda.
No, but we can, if you want to email me and just, you know, if there's something we want to add to it, we can.
Yeah, I just think that, well, am I not supposed to be?
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Okay, all right. All right. So I will send you an email.
Next time I'll leave it as other items. It's supposed to be specific.
Add an other to it, or I should have said it earlier in the agenda. May I add an item?
And I don't think you can on the special, because I think committee meetings are seen as special meetings. And you're not supposed to add items to it. So.
Okay, they're just supposed to be exactly what's on there.
We'll know. Keep your Facebook thought on that. We need to add something to that, and our, you know, I think either way. When's the town meeting? I think either way.
Has it been scheduled? Has it been scheduled?
I think they called it on Monday. So I'm not sure what the date is. I think it's October 5th or 4th. I might be making that up.
Okay.
But once that happens, and we have to, either way, we have to meet again to put something in the FAQ document.
Okay.
Whether it passed or not, and then we can add the Facebook piece at that point.
Would you add that to that agenda? Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Definitely can. Okay.
All right. That's
so
great.
It's 4:35, and I think we can adjourn.
Okay. Thank you,
Thanks,
Phil.
Dan. Have a good
Bye,
day.
Ralph and Melissa. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.